So, which brings us to defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. I mean, this is crazy stuff here, people. By the authority vested in me as President of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including Section 7301 of Title V of the United States Code, it is hereby ordered. Section 1. Purpose. Across the country, ideologues who deny the biological reality of sex have increasingly used legal and other socially coercive means to permit men to self-identify as women and gain access to intimate single-sex spaces and activities designed for women. From women's domestic abuse shelters to women's workplace showers, this is wrong. Efforts to eradicate the biological reality of sex fundamentally attack women by depriving them of their dignity, safety, and well-being. The erasure of sex in language and policy has a corrosive impact not just on women, but on the validity of the entire American system. Basing federal policy on truth is critical to scientific inquiry, public safety, morale, and trust in the government itself. I couldn't agree with that more. This unhealthy road is paved by an ongoing and purposeful attack against the ordinary and long-standing use and understanding of biological and scientific terms, replacing the immutable biological reality of sex with an internal, fluid, and subjective sense of a self unmoored from biological facts. Invalidating the true and biological category of woman improperly transforms laws and policies designed to protect sex-based opportunities into laws and policies that undermine them, replacing long-standing cherished legal rights and values with an identity-based, inchoate social concept. Accordingly, my administration will defend women's rights and protect freedom of conscience by using clear and accurate language and policies that recognize women are biologically female and men are biologically male. Section 2, Policy and Definitions. It is the policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female. No other. There are no other sexes acknowledged by the U.S. government. That is fantastic. Like and subscribe to this video or drop a comment below right now if you really love the idea that we only have two sexes in the United States anymore, male, and comment below what the other one is. These sexes are not changeable and are not grounded in the fundamental and incontrovertible reality. Under my direction, the executive branch will enforce all sex protective laws to promote this reality, and the following definitions shall govern all executive interpretation of and application of federal law and administration policy. Sex. Wow, we're actually having the government define these terms for us. That's pretty darn awesome because, well, obviously we couldn't handle it on our own. Sex shall refer to an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female. Sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity. Which, that's fine. We get they're not the same things. But we have to have an understanding that there's only two of them. Two sexes. Women or woman and girls or girl shall mean adult and juvenile human females respectively. Men or man, these terms, boy, boys or boy, shall mean adult and juvenile human males respectively. Female means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the large reproductive cell. Male means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the small reproductive cell. That's pretty awesome, and whoa, what a definition. That's pretty major. We actually got a definition on what it is to be a man, a woman, what the definition of sex is, and it came from our government. We have more. Let's keep reading. Gender ideology replaces the biological category of sex with an ever-shifting concept of self-assessed gender identity, permitting the false claim that males can identify as and thus become women, and vice versa, and requiring all institutions of society to regard this false claim as true. Gender ideology includes the idea that there is a vast spectrum of genders that are disconnected from one sex. Gender ideology is internally inconsistent in that it diminishes sex as an identifiable or useful category, but nevertheless maintains that it is possible for a person to be born in the wrong sexed body. Yeah, it's not my opinion that God would do that to us. Gender identity. We got more definitions, people. reflects a fully internal and subjective sense of self, disconnected from biological reality and sex, and existing on an infinite continuum that does not provide a meaningful basis for identification and cannot be recognized as a replacement for sex. Man, I'm so glad that God gave us the wisdom to know how to articulate all of these things properly. Section 3. Recognizing women are biologically distinct from men. Wow, our government's finally going to spell out, hey, yeah, we want equal rights, but men and women ain't equal, and here's why. Recognizing women are biologically distinct from men, within 30 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall provide to the U.S. government, external partners, and the public clear guidance, expanding on the sex-based definitions set forth in this order. That's pretty exciting. Each agency and all federal employees shall enforce laws governing sex-based rights, protections, opportunities, and accommodations to protect men and women as biological distinct sexes. Each agency should therefore give the terms sex, male, female, men, women, boys, and girls, the meaning set forth in this Section 2 of this order, when interpreting or applying statutes, regulations, or guidance, and in all other official agency businesses, documents, and communications. You know what this kind of sounds like to me? It sounds to me like the Bible, for real. And I'm loving it. So, when administering or enforcing sex-based distinctions, every agency and all federal employees acting in an official capacity on behalf of their agency shall use the term sex and not gender in all applicable federal policies and documents. Wow. The Secretaries of State and Homeland Security and the Director of Office of Personnel Management shall implement changes to require that government-issued identification documents, including passports, visas, and global entry cards, accurately reflect the holder's sex, as defined under Section 2 of this order, and the Director of the Office of Personnel Management shall ensure that applicable personnel records accurately report federal employees' sex, as defined by Section 2 of this order. Wow. Agencies shall remove all statements, policies, regulations, forms, communications, or other internal or external messages that promote or otherwise inculcate gender ideology, and shall cease issuing such statements, policies, regulations, forms, communications, or other messages. Agency forms that require an individual's sex shall list male or female and shall not request gender identity. Agencies shall take all necessary steps as permitted by law to end the federal funding of gender ideology. Wow. I didn't know we were really funding the gender ideology. That sure is a lot of information, ain't it? So, makes you wonder, well, how did that happen? The prior administration argued that the Supreme Court's decision in Bostock versus Clayton County 2020, which addressed Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, requires gender identity-based access. Hold that thought. Got a message from my wife. Heading back now. Okay, babe, drive safe. I love you so much. Much more today than yesterday. Let's see. Where was I? Oh. Explicitly permitted. Where was I? The Attorney General shall... Oh, wait a minute. We don't want to leave anything out here. Let's just start fresh. The prior administration argued that the Supreme Court's decision in Bostock v. Clayton County 2020, which addressed Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, requires gender identity-based access to single-sex spaces under, for example, Title IX of the Educational Amendments Act. This position is legally untenable and has harmed women. The Attorney General shall therefore immediately issue guidance to agencies to correct the misapplication of the Supreme Court's decision. That's amazing, because I just sent this email out to the EEOC and told them, hey, you guys need to relook at this and do the right thing here as well. Which is really what some of these executive orders are doing here. So, I love it. Let's see. This petition is In addition, the Attorney General shall issue guidance and assist agencies in protecting sex-based distinctions which are explicitly permitted under constitutional and statutory precedent. Let's see. Federal funds shall not be used to promote gender ideology. Each agency shall assess grant conditions and grantee preferences and ensure grant funds do not promote gender ideology. Privacy in intimate spaces. The Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security shall ensure that males are not detained in women's prisons or housed in women's detention centers, including through amendment as necessary of Part 115.41 of Title 28, Code of Federal Regulations and Interpretation Guidance regarding the Americans with Disabilities Act. The Secretary of Housing and Urban Development shall prepare and submit for notice and comment rulemaking a policy to rescind the final rule entitled Equal Access in accordance with an individual's gender identity in community planning and development programs. Wow. That's kind of a lot to rescind, but I'm with you. As of September 21st, 2016, 81 FR 64763, and shall submit for public comment a policy protecting women seeking single-sex rape shelters. Wow. What do you guys think about all that? Agencies shall effectuate this policy by taking appropriate action to ensure that intimate spaces designed for women, girls, or females, or for men, boys, or males, are designed by sex and not identity. I love how we're including everybody now. That's a more inclusive. That's how you be more inclusive. You set policies that apply to women, but also apply to men. There you go. That's how you do that, basically. Section 5, protecting rights. The Attorney General shall issue guidance to ensure the freedom to express the binary nature of sex and the right to single-sex spaces in workplaces and federally funded entities covered by the Civil Rights Acts of 1964. In accordance with that guidance, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Labor, the General Counsel, and Chair of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and the EEOC, and each other agency head with enforcement responsibilities under the Civil Rights Act shall prioritize investigations and litigation to enforce the rights and freedoms identified. Well, it sounds like he's telling the EEOC and the Attorney General and the Secretary of Labor that they had better... Wow, let's read that again. Section 5, protecting rights. The Attorney General shall issue guidance to ensure the freedom to express the binary nature of sex and the right to single-sex spaces in the workplaces and federally funded entities covered by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So he's recalling the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and saying, in accordance with that guidance, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Labor, the General Counsel, and Chair of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and each other agency head with enforcement responsibilities under the Civil Rights Act shall prioritize investigations and litigation to enforce the rights and freedoms identified, which are the rights and freedoms identified in the Civil Rights Acts of 1964, and he's told the head of these departments to see to it that they prioritize these investigations. So, that might include my case, folks. I'm just telling you, that might include my case. Because I've been a pretty squealy, greasy wheel here lately. Bill text. Section 6, bill text. Within 30 days of the date of this order, the Assistant to the President for Legislative Affairs shall present to the President proposed bill text to codify the definitions in this order. Section 7, agency implementation and reporting. Within 120 days of the date of this order, each agency head shall submit an update on implementation of this order to the President through the Director of the Office of Management and Budget. That update shall address. So all the heads of those departments need to write this up, and they're going to need to report back to the President about what they found. Changes to agency documents, including regulations, guidance forms, and communications made to comply with this order. Agency imposed requirements on federally funded entities, including contractors, to achieve this policy of this order. The requirements of this order supersede conflicting provisions in any previous executive orders or presidential memoranda, including but not limited to Executive Orders 13988 of January 20th, 2021, 14004 of January 25th, 2021, 14020 and 14021 of March 8th, 2021, and 14075 of June 15th, 2022. These executive orders are hereby rescinded, and the White House Gender Policy Council established by Executive Order 14020 is dissolved. Wow. Each agency head shall promptly rescind all guidance documents inconsistent with the requirements of this order and the Attorney General's guidelines issued pursuant to this order, or rescind such parts of such documents that are inconsistent in such manner. Such documents include, but are not limited to. I really hope they make these people pay. I know that Comcast was trying to make a lesson out of me, but I hope that on behalf of the American people, we can make an example out of them. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump. That's justice. The American way is holding people accountable. If you're going to mess up, take your licks, move on. Each agency head, not limited to. Oh, she messaged me. You could have. What you doing messaging me? Oh. Hold on. I'm not really able to. I kind of can. We got something on X popping up, coming up here. We're right in the middle of this one. Let's see. Post. Come on, come on, come on. Pepe Deluxe Trump making good on his promises. Whoa. Headed to the border. This is Texas. Oh, hell yes. Yeah. Oh, oh, whoa. Damn. That is what I'm talking about, people. Yeah. That is what I'm talking about. Big thumbs up to my Aunt Bonnie. Oh, she's sending me some stuff. Boy, man. That's what I'm talking about. We're going through these executive orders right now. We're seeing it happen, people. This is what it's all about. Man, Trump admin shut down the White House Spanish language page and social media. Wow, that's funny. That's the page I'm on. I'm hoping that I can at least finish reading the executive orders. They are shutting shit down. Y'all want to see what a real shutdown looks like? It's the one with full transparency. Wow. Thanks, Aunt Bonnie. I'm going to have a hard time. What is going on here? Empty chairs. Empty stethoscopes. What's going on there? You're going to replace all that. Alone again, naturally. Oh, you're at the doctor's office. Ha ha! Hey, and you're tuned in on executive orders while you're at the doctor's office? How about that? Well, stay listening, sister, because we're covering some scoops. Thanks. Send me all that info. Man, that's awesome. I saw the tanks rolling in. They are handling some business now, folks. Oh, man. I hope I can. Hopefully, are we back up? There we are. All right, let's get back into this. Bill text within 30 days of the date of this order. The assistant to the president for legislative affairs shall present to the president proposed bill text to codify the definitions in this order. Agency implementation and reporting. Within 120 days of the date of this order, each agency shall submit an order implementation. You're going to have to tell everybody, hey, here's the changes that we've made to the agency documents, regulations, guidance, forms, communications made to comply with this order. Agency imposed requirements on federally funded entities, including contractors, to achieve the policy of this order. The requirements, I think we read that, didn't we? No, we'll read it again, but they're reiterating it for a reason. Changes, let's see. Agency imposed requirements on federally funded entities, including contractors, to achieve this policy of this order. The requirements of this order supersede conflicting provisions in any previous executive orders or presidential memoranda. All the memorandums, remember, that they came out with, they're all no good anymore. None of them. Executive Orders 13988 of January 20th, 2021. 14004 of January 25th, 2021. 14020 and 14021 of March 8th, 2021, and 14075. of June 15, 2022. These executive orders are hereby rescinded, and the White House Gender Policy Council established by Executive Order 14020 is dissolved. Oh, sorry, we did read that, and I read it again. Sorry, I backed up. So, here's what the documents that they need to update. The White House Toolkit on Transgender Equality, the Department of Education's guidance documents including 2024 Title IX regulations, pointers for implementation, July of 2024, U.S. Department of Education Toolkit, creating inclusive and non-discriminatory school environments for LGBTQI plus students, U.S. Department of Education supporting LGBTQI plus youth and families in school, June 21, 2023, Departamento de Educación de EE.UU. Here's some stuff in Spanish. Supporting intersex students. Wow. Oh, I guess I didn't read this part. We need to say this. Each agency head shall promptly rescind all guidance documents inconsistent with the requirements of this order or the Attorney General's guidance issued pursuant to this order, or rescind such parts of such documents that are inconsistent in such manner. Such documents include, but are not limited to, these things. So these all have to be taken back and taken away, rescinded, gotten rid of. Supporting intersex students, a resource for students, families, and educators, October 2021. Supporting transgender youth in school, June 2021. All of this should be red flags to everybody. Letter to educators on Title IX's 49th anniversary of June 23, 2021. You got to take all this stuff out of there. Confronting anti-LGBTQI plus harassment in schools, a resource for students and families, June 2021. Enforcement of Title IX on the Education Amendments of 1972 with respect to discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in light of Bostick v. Clayton County, June 22nd, 2021. All of these materials got to be pulled from all these agencies and guidance and everything. Education in a pandemic. The disparate impacts of COVID-19 on America's students, June 9th, 2021. Back to school message for transgender students from the U.S. Departments of Justice, Education, and HHS, August 17, 2021. The Attorney General's memorandum on March 26, 2021, entitled Application of Bostick v. Clayton County to Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. And the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's Enforcement Guidance on Harassment in the Workplace, April 29, 2024. Section 8, General Provisions. Nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority of this government, these offices, the same offices, all these entities. Signed the White House. Wow, that is quite a section. Wow, quite a section on defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Amen and glory be to God.